Hello YouTube, this is Undes93 coming back at you with another video. I'm going to be doing a video on my Ramiel deck, or Celestial deck. I really like how the deck goes. It's a very interesting deck. I'll explain also how cards work in tandem together. But yeah, I'll get started. Starting Vanguard is First Aid Celestial Peniel. Her skill is you toss her to soul. Yeah, I choose a card with Celestial in my damage zone, call it to rear. And then my top card of my deck goes to my damage zone face down. So she allows me to, if there's anything I really need in the damage zone on the field, allows me to plop it to the field. If I need my 10k attacker, or I need just a unit on the board, so I can also get off Danielle, pop her to the field. If I have enough if I have enough cards on the board, then I can establish a board real quickly. And we have our triggers, which I go with 4 draw, pony draw. We have 4 heal, and 8 crit. It's the only trigger that has an effect so far for Celestials. Basically what it does is, if this card's faced from the damage zone, I have a Celestial Vanguard. It has the ability to throw itself back to the deck. Deck gets shuffled. I look at the top 3 cards, and I choose a card that's not this card from those 3, put it into my damage zone, and then the rest of the cards go to the drop zone. The only thing I don't really like about this card is that it sends it to the drop zone, so it mills through your deck really quickly through a lot of key cards you could use later. So you have to choose between throwing grade 3s or a PG or triggers into your drop zone. And with how I run this deck, there's no way to get anything back unless I would run Legion. But since it's a Ramiel deck, I ain't got no Legion. Then we have our grade 1s. So we have our 4 of our Limit Break Enabler. Sends all our 3s that I run in the deck are off Limit Break. So she allows for early grade 3 push if she's on the board. We have 4 of Nariel, which in my opinion is a really, I say the best grade 1 that Celestials have. Basically what she does is, when she's placed on rear, I choose a card with Celestial in my hand, put it into damage zone, and then I choose a card from my damage zone, put it to hand. This is really good because it allows me to get a heal trigger to hand for G guarding, a perfect guard if it's in my damage zone, to also perfect guard. If I need a grade 3 and I'm on grade 2, I play her, throw something from my hand, which most likely would be like most of the time is usually a draw trigger, because a draw trigger would have already served its purpose. So yeah, she has a lot of versatility. She also serves a lot of versatility with Peniel, because you can also add the card that Peniel throws. And if it's like a card you need, you just have to use Peniel's skill to bring something. You just play her, throw something into the damage zone, grab that face down card, and then you just net yourself some advantage. Then I run 2 of the 10k attacker. Main reason I don't run her at more is she's mostly in here as a beat stick, and most of the time she doesn't do that much as a beat stick. There was a grade 1 version of the unit that came out in G7 that would most likely replace her, but at the moment she's the best grade 1 swinger at the moment. We have our 4 Celestial PGs. Mostly just use them because Nariel can grab them from your damage zone, and that's the main thing. So I was going to go Also, this deck really doesn't have much problem with counter charging, so I don't need to run the unflip PG Iserfill. We have our grade 2s. I have 4, Danielle. In my opinion, she's probably the second best grade 2 until set 7, and then, well, she was the best, in my opinion, until set 7 dropped, or G7, and then she became the best unit. But what she does is another card hits a damage zone, you kind of blast a card, plop her to the field, and then you put the top card of your deck into the damage zone. Good thing about her is you can loop her if you have like multiple of her in the damage zone, and you have like one additional counter blast or like additional card, and hit like a card hits your damage, you counter blast that, hit her, put that next one. You have 2 cards on the board. So she's very versatile as well. Most of the time I like to have her in the damage zone, either that or have her be my ride of grade 2. And then we have a new unit, which right now I'm running at 3, and she seems to be working at 3. And that is a frontal celestial Myojo, or Nell At Jail. Pretty much what she does is she's basically a Nurse of Broken Heart, which is, in my opinion, the best Angel Feather unit in the whole game right now. That can be discerned, but in my opinion, Nurse of Broken Heart is pretty much the only thing it has angels doing. Well, that and Refros, but Refos does his stuff. Basically, what she does is when a card is put into my damage zone and I have a Vanguard or Celestial in its card name, she gets +2, and then if I have a face-up card with my Vanguard in my damage zone, my Vanguard also gets +2. So, mostly late game, I do things with her. I would play Refros in this deck just to have her shenanigans go off, but that would change up the deck too much, and I would rely too much heavily on her. And with decks that are able to like plow her off the board, it's not really that worth it. So she's just a beat stick that people just have to keep track of. Then we have our 11k attacker, which is Control Celestial Hello. And basically what she does, if you have Vanguard with Celestial, she's 11k attacker. And then if there is a face-up card as the same as my Vanguard, she gets the skill of when she hits, countercharge soul charge 1, which is really good because there are times late game when you do run out of counterblasts. Soul is the other thing. You don't really run out of soul because there's one card in the whole deck, or not deck, but deck that uses soul, and I don't go into him that much. Only if I need to recorrect my my damage zone. But yeah, she's still really good. She puts all the main pressure that needs to be, and I like her over the 12k attacker because, in my opinion, most 11k attackers are infinitely better than 12k attackers because they always have an additional skill that makes them more versatile. And we have our 4 Ramiel, our regular Ramiel. What she does, she's limit break ride. When another Angel Feather unit rides on top of her, I choose a card from my damage zone, put it to my hand, and then I put the top card of my deck into my damage zone, and then my Vanguard gets +10, which is really good because it allows me to grab a card from my damage zone that I need from there, so a PG, a heal trigger, or such, add it to my hand, and then rescue, basically. Deal myself damage. Then we have our nice main boss monster, Ramiel Reverse. And what she does is I choose 2 of my rear guards to lock, and then I choose 3 units in my front row. They get +5. And if I have a face-up card with Ramiel Reverse in my damage zone, I choose one of my opponent's. I choose one card in my opponent's damage zone. I throw it to their waiting room. And then my opponent chooses a unit, and it goes to their what's it called? To their damage zone. The only bad thing about this is if the unit that they choose is a resist unit, her effect won't go off, I think. So they might get a heal. I'm not entirely sure because I really haven't gone against much decks with the resist unit on the board. But most of the time I usually try to gun those off the board first. Yep, and then get my good old SP Ramiel out of this. So then we have our Gizo. Right now I'm running one of the Orifil. She's in my opinion, she's an okay G guard. Pretty much if you're at 4 more damage, she has +5. The only bad thing is it's kind of reliant on you being kind of far into the game. So that's why she's kind of at 1. And then my other 2 G guards are the rescue one. And it's pretty much what she does is when you put her into the G zone or the Guardian Circle, you counter blast 1. You look at the top card, but you either put it top or bottom of the deck, and then you choose a card from your damage zone, heal it, and then you deal damage yourself. So the good thing about it is, since rescue, since you're dealing damage, you can actually get a trigger. So the main thing I like to use with her is try to bait out a draw trigger, so that one, I'm getting extra hand advantage, and then also my Vanguard's getting bigger, or whatever they're swinging at is getting bigger. We have our, in my opinion, the best stride pre-7. We have our good Ramiel, who's our healer. Basically what she does is you basically, her act is you flip a copy of herself and you choose a card from your damage zone and heal it. So if you're in a tight bind, you stride into her, heal a damage, and you've gained a tad bit of advantage back. Then we have Ramiel. What he does is when you stride on him, you still blast 2. If you do, you return all the cards from your damage zone back to your deck, and then you take the same amount of damage. He works really well with the new grade 2 because he allows 0 X amount of damage. That unit will always get X times the amount of damage that you put back. We have our on hitter, and when she hits, you look at the top 3, and you grab one of those cards, put it in your damage zone face up, and then you put a card from your damage zone as a rear guard. But it has to be grade 2 or less, so it can't be any of your grade 3s. But it is a grade 3 that I do put here, which can be a good thing because most of the skills revolve around my grade 3s. Then we have our main stride, in my opinion, which is Holy Celestial Michiel. What she does is if I have a Heart of Celestial, so no matter what, I'll have a Heart of Celestial. I counter blast, I put the top card of my deck into my damage zone, and I choose a face-up card from my damage zone, call it to rear. And then if I have a face-up, and then if I have a, basically, my heart is in my damage zone, the unit that gets called gets +5, which is really good. This allows me to basically push for numbers. But yeah, that is basically my Celestial deck. It's not the best deck at the moment. Well, with Angels pretty much right now is pretty much G Angels, or it's basically G Angels. Because it's kind of hard to go around any Angel deck that's not going. I'm gonna plus hard off of being at. I think they just need, like, if they're at like 4 or 3 damage, they can just go super off with Referos, the Null Seal Engine. Yeah, other than that, that is basically the deck. I will be doing more. What's it called? I'll be doing more deck profiles. I will have to do like what I've seen in my Vowing Saber deck is I'll have to update that mostly due to the deck being kind of old, and also it's all the lineup in that entire deck is completely different. But this deck is basically where it is, and it'll probably stay this way until Angels get any more support. The only thing I would change in this deck is if I get any more Celestial SPs, which I think the only Celestial SPs are Serakiel, which wouldn't be ran in the deck, regular Ramiel and Ramiel Reverse, which at the moment I'm not really looking to get at the moment. So, so yeah, there's that. So thank you all for watching, and y'all have a wonderful day.